Ah yes, it's time for another album ranking. Today we're ranking the underrated heavy metal US band Omen. They have 7 albums to their name, which is not many, especially for a band that kick-started their career back in 1983. And they released a debut album in 1994. Kenny Powell, the lead guitarist of Omen, was the founder of this band, and he has been with the band since its inception. There have been many lineup changes for Omen throughout the years. The original vocalist, J.D. Kimball, passed away in the early 2000s after battling cancer for 3 years prior to his death. In total, there have been 6 vocalists, but many of them weren't featured on the albums, mainly just for touring. Now, Kenny Powell now the only original Omen member, but surprisingly they have never released a bad album. Well, not a very bad album. The current vocalist of Omen is Nikos Migas. Unfortunately, he has never been featured on an Omen record, as the last album was released back in 2016. Okay, so the weakest album by Omen is their 2016 release, Hammer Damage. I don't like this album at all. It can get in the bin. It's not great or even good. The main issue lies with the vocals by Kevin Gucha, which are lacking compared to his performance in Eternal Black Dawn. However, the instrumentals are consistently strong as expected from an Omen album. The solos and drumming are excellent, but the vocals being too prominent in the mix detract from the overall listening experience. I have no intention of purchasing this album physically, as it is easily the weakest in the discography. When the vocals kick in during the song Hammer Damage, I'm instantly turned off. I'd much rather listen to something better from their discography, like The Curse. Hammer Damage can get in the fucking bin. I'm sorry if you like this record, but I don't. Kevin Powell's guitar work is great on this. The riffs are interesting, but I can't get with those vocals. That said, the album is not too bad overall. I'm just nitpicking here. It's an okay album. It's fine. I'd give it probably 50%. Next up is Eternal Black Dawn. So this album really grows on you, to be honest. When I first heard it, I wasn't really into it, but through multiple listens, I really started to enjoy it. Kevin Gucha on vocals, his vocals are really good as well, but he doesn't have that same emotion like Coben Farr had. I do like the guitar work on this. It's more of a power metal album per se than a heavy metal album, although there are a lot of elements of heavy metal on this album as well. Good songs like A Thousand Year Rain, Eternal Black Dawn, Burning Times. I just have to say, Kevin Gucha's vocals are way better than on Hammer Damage. You get some infectious choruses like Blood Feud with a ripping solo. But one thing I noticed about this album is that Eternal Black Dawn just lacks the atmosphere from the early albums. House of Royale has a similar guitar riff to King of the Hill from Escape to Nowhere. So I thought that it was an interesting song. It's still a great song. To me, it seemed like Omen were running out of ideas for this album, because they do recycle some melodies from other albums with this one. It's a good one, but like I said, there's not really a bad Omen album. One thing I noticed is that there are some slow-paced songs on this, adding doom-laden riffs. King of the Seven Seas is the best song off the album, in my opinion, with those chugging riffs and amazing guitar solos. And his vocals are brilliant in this, especially in Chaos in the Cathedral, with those death-like growls. However, I feel this is their second weakest album. Well, another album that is really good is Reopening Gates, released in 1997. A new vocalist, Greg Powell, leads the way with his thrash metal, James Hetfield style vocals, and they are truly impressive. On this album, Omen channels their thrash metal roots more than ever, as it is more of a thrash metal record than a traditional heavy metal one, and I really enjoy this fucking shift in their sound. The riffs in the song Saturday are fantastic, and the solo section is an absolute shredder. The first song, Death March, is a fantastic thrasher with breakneck pace and intense energy. Chained is another great track, as it's the title song reopening the gates. The thrashy riffs on the album are simply superb. This is indeed a sound changer for Omen, as Greg Powell was only featured on this one album, which is a shame. His gritty, aggressive vocals bring a fresh dynamic to the fucking band's signature sound. I think this album is a lot better than some of the previous Omen releases I've mentioned. It's heavy, the songwriting is great, and it showcases the band's ability to adapt the style while retaining their core metal power. Other standout tracks include the frantic Rain Down, the chugging uneven rhythms of Uneven Plow, and the relentlessly heavy Crushing Fucking Day. These songs blend Omen's thrash influences with their trademark high-pitched vocals and complex musical structures. Overall, Reopening the Gates is an underrated gem in Omen's discography that deserves more appreciation from the band's loyal fan base, in my opinion. The album highlights their versatility as songwriters and the willingness to evolve their sound without abandoning the core elements that made them such an influential force in the heavy and also power metal genre. I really don't know why people aren't really big on this album, but we're talking about Escape to Nowhere, released in 1988.
Screaming louder 'cause we're taking down the walls. Well, that's not easy. Stand up, cower, as we overload the halls.
I really enjoyed this album. It's certainly not their best. Omen was channeling more into that mainstream sound. Coben Farr, who also was in early Annihilator, is on vocals for this album, and he just does a terrific job with Banshee fucking cries through Cry for the Morning. Great songs like It's Not Easy, where he showcases his vocals prowess. The guitar work is fantastic on this one, and it's not as heavy as the previous albums like The Curse, but this album is still very good in my opinion. Love the guitar work in the song Poison. The vocals carry so much emotion throughout the songs. He's a great vocalist. He can sound overstrained sometimes, but it adds more of the grit and attitude for the album. King of the Hill is another great song. No Way Out, with his vocals going absolutely batshit crazy on that, but I love it. It's a different sound for Omen. It's more mainstream, but there are still heavier tracks on this one, like Your Poison and that infectious chorus in Nomads. The album cover doesn't help either with the negative reviews. It's not very good. The album cover's awful. Thorn in Your Flesh is another great song as well. As their cover Radar Love, I love this album from start to finish. It's not the best, but it's up there for me. I wish Coben was on other albums for Omen, but that wasn't the case. Battle Cry was once my favorite Omen album, but it has dropped down the ranks for me over the years. While it's still an excellent record, I feel there are a few other albums in their discography that I now consider to be better. As Omen's debut album Battle Cry has a raw, unpolished production quality that gives it a lot of gritty charm, J.D. Kimball's vocals are truly fantastic with a powerful, emotive delivery that perfectly suits the band's brand of high-octane traditional heavy metal. The guitar work is also outstanding, with the players showcasing impressing technical chops and memorable songwriting. This album is packed with classic Omen tracks like the breakneck Death Rider, the hooky Dragon's Breath with its catchy fucking chorus, the epic title track with its blistering solos, and the soaring Prince of Darkness and In the Arena. The energy and intensity is palpable, and it's easily to see why it made such an impact when it was released in 1984. That said, while Battlecry is undoubtedly a classic heavy metal album, I do feel that Omen's later efforts refine and improve upon the sound they established here. Albums like Warning of Danger, in particular, managed to harness that same raw energy intensity, but with a more polished, sophisticated production, in my opinion, that allows the nuances of the songwriting and performance to shine just a little bit more. Though even more clearly than Battlecry. Still, Battlecry is an essential part of Omen's discography and a testament to the band's skill and vision from the very beginning. It may no longer be my overall favorite, but it's an album I continue to revisit and enjoy time and time again. The Curse, released in 1986, was an album I didn't initially take to, but has grown on me immensely throughout multiple listens.
If you mean my price, I will do the dirty deed, a human sacrifice. The battle axe unwieldy.
And it's now my second favorite fucking Omen album. This record just annihilates you with its heavy, punishing production, the incorporation of death metal influenced riffing, the blistering guitar solos, J.D. Kimball's truly impressive vocal performance, which at times sounds almost demonic. And I love the galloping Iron Maiden-esque riffs on this. The lyrical themes on The Curse have a much darker, more horror-tinged edge compared to Omen's earlier work, but the songs themselves are incredibly fucking catchy and a lot heavy. Kill on Sight is an absolutely amazing track with Kimball's in-your-face vocals and a ridiculously hooky chorus. Other standouts include the slow-burning Eye of the Storm with its mouth-watering guitar work, the ominous Teeth of the Hydra, Children of the Damned, and of course one of my all-time favorite Omen songs, the heavy-hitting Bounty Hunter, where Kimball's vocals are at their most aggressive and effective, and that would be his last song in Omens. At All Costs is a song that I listen to when I feel not as motivated, because it's got an incredible message. It just gets you back motivated with that chorus. Compared to the earlier albums, The Curse sees Omen expanding their sound in a heavier, more intense direction. The production is superb, adding layers of atmospheric darkness and grit to the already crushing riffs and solos. It may not have been their absolute heaviest album. That will be the following year's Reopening the Gates. The Curse is a marked progression in Omen's evolution, showcasing their fucking growth as songwriters and their willingness to push their sound in a more extreme direction. For me, The Curse is a real high point in Omen's discography, demonstrating the ability to craft catchy, memorable, heavy, clean metal tinge anthems while retaining the core essence of their traditional heavy metal sound. It's an album that has only grown in my estimation over time, and I consider it an essential part of the band's legendary catalogue. And my number one album is Warning of Danger, is my absolute favorite Omen album, and I can tell you exactly why it resonates with me so strongly. From the moment I hit play, there's just something undeniably captivating about this record that makes me want to listen to it from start to fucking finish.
Back to win, and an eagle. Warning of danger. Ready.
A big part of what makes Warning of Danger so special is J.D. Kimball's absolutely phenomenal vocal performance. He has such a rich, powerful, and emotive tone that perfectly complements Omen's brand of traditional heavy metal. Every single song features Kimball at the top of his game, delivering memorable hooks and showcasing his impressive range. But there's not just Kimball's vocals that make this album so special. The songwriting is simply outstanding. Across the board, tracks like the epic Don't Fear the Night and the blistering Termination are packed with killer fucking riffs, hooks and solos that borrow their way deep into your brain. And the guitar work, particularly the scorching lead playing of Kenny Powell, is nothing short of mind-blowing. Powell is truly a master of his craft, and his contributions elevate the already excellent material at an even higher level. What I love most about Warning of Danger though is how Omen managed to take the classic heavy metal sound and make it completely their own. The reduction is so much crisper and more polished compared to their early work on Battlecry, giving the music an added sense of power and authority. Yet they never lose that raw, energetic edge that made their debut so captivating. Even the instrumental track VBP is a highlight with its galloping Iron Maiden-esque riffs that just get your blood pumping. From start to finish, Warning of Danger is a remarkably consistent and compelling heavy metal album with not a single weak fucking song to be found. It's a testament to Omen's immense talent and vision as a band. For me, Warning of Danger represents the absolute pinnacle of their discography, a true heavy metal masterpiece that I never tire of revisiting. It's an album that has only grown in my estimation over time, and I've no doubt will continue to be my favorite Omen record for years to come. In case you think I'm looking down, well, look at this. It's a viewfinder. Yeah, you see that? So yeah, unfortunately my DSLR camera shit itself and I actually have to film on my iPhone. But it seems like the connectivity with the iPhone and MacBook, I can actually see that if I'm focused or not. So that was awesome. I tell you what, it's a new sort of era for the Jamie Horsley channel again, and I'm so damn excited. So Omen is like one of my favorite heavy metal bands now, along with Iron Maiden. I absolutely love Omen. They do have a few hit and miss albums in the discography, like I mentioned, but they're still a pretty solid fucking band. Warning of Danger is an incredible album. Battle Cry is amazing, but The Curse is just an aggressive and amazing album. Even Reopening the Gates is just a brilliant thrashy metal album. But yeah, let me know what you thought about this video. Let me know your rankings down below as well. It's been fun, and I'll see you in the next one.